Now this week, our latest military adventure to counter the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, the one that we are so reluctant to call a war, finally got a name.
Also today, the Pentagon announced the official name for the U.S. air campaign against Islamic State forces. It will be called Operation Inherent Resolve.
Inherent Resolve. I don't know if a lot of folks can define that. Maybe, that's kind of a metaphor for the operation.
That is the name. After all this time, Operation Inherent Resolve.
You heard it. Operation Inherent Resolve. Now, according to CENTCOM officials, the name, quote, is intended to reflect the unwavering resolve and deep commitment of the U.S. and partner nations in the region and around the globe to eliminate the terrorist group ISIL and the threat they pose to Iraq, the region, and the wider international community. Now, we should note that before they settled on Inherent Resolve, the Wall Street Journal reported on October 3rd that senior officers had rejected the moniker, and one unnamed official told the Journal that, quote, it is just kind of bleh. Now, I think they were right the first time. The only thing that's been inherent about our foreign policy is that we like to start wars that we can't finish, and that the architects and profiteers of those post-9/11 wars like it that way. You know, if you go back to that question of whether or not you can actually fight a war against terrorism, whether or not you can export democracy like it's a pop-up shop, then you realize that the notion of an end date is something that is misguided, counterintuitive, and a sham. So maybe it's best that we go back to that dirty term coined during the Bush administration, global war on terror. Now, it might not sound pretty, but it makes a lot more sense than some of our other ill-suited names that have backfired. Operation Iraqi Freedom, that morphed into Operation New Dawn, and well, we all know what this new day in Iraq has now turned into. Our 13-year endeavor in Afghanistan is called Operation Enduring Freedom. Now, I wonder if that means that so-called freedom ends once U.S. and coalition troops withdraw in 2016. Our foreign policy blunders have become such a joke that the Washington Post had a competition where readers offered their own suggestions. And some of the winners there included Operation Shia Storm, Operation Sunni Delight, and Operation Fool Me Twice. Now, the truth is that a war by any other name sheds just as much blood, burns just as much money, and places just as much blame on America's shoulders when things go wrong. So it's time for a wake-up call.